So if working hard was the secret to getting rich, then construction workers, teachers, and nurses would actually be billionaires. But they're not. And it's because hard work alone just isn't enough. You actually need to manage money like the 1%. So wealthy people don't get wealthy by grinding longer hours. They actually get wealthy because they manage their money in a way that ensures that it's always growing. So if you are working your ass off but you still feel broke, you're missing out on one of the biggest wealth building strategies that the 1%ers use every single day. And today I want to show you the exact 5 principles that separate how those 1%ers manage their money from anybody else. So number 1, pay yourself first, always. Most people don't realize that the way that they handle their paycheck is the reason that they are stuck in the cycle of never having enough. So let me paint a picture. You get paid, the money lands in your account, and before you even blink, it's gone. Bills, rent, groceries, a few dinners out, maybe an online purchase or two. But by the time you think about saving, there is nothing left. And you tell yourself next month will be different, but next month is exactly the same. And this is where the 1%, the top 1%, they do things completely differently. They take their cut first. So before the world gets their hands on it, before they even think about spending a cent, they move their money into investments and savings or wealth building accounts. So here's how you can make this strategy work for you. First, decide on a percentage. Start with 10% if you can, but even 2% or 5% is better than nothing. And then automate it. Set up an automatic transfer that moves that money out of your spending account the moment it lands in your account. And lastly, make it invisible. So the trick is never to even see this money in the first place, because if you don't see it, you will not miss it. This simple shift changes everything because it forces you to live on what is left. Okay, so the second thing that the 1% Club does is they multiply their earning power. If you've ever tried to improve your finances, the first instinct is to usually cut back. You look at your spending and you think maybe I could cancel a subscription or stop eating out or buy the cheaper coffee. And sure, those things help, but there's a limit to how much you can cut. There is no limit to how much you can earn. And wealthy people understand that earning more is the biggest financial lever they have. It can be the difference between struggling to get ahead and having real financial options. So how do you do it? Well, step 1 is make sure you're getting paid what you're worth. So if you have a job and you haven't had a raise in the last 12 months, you might already be being underpaid without realizing it. So companies rarely hand out money for free. You have to ask for it. So here's where to start. Do your research, find out what people in your industry at your level are making. And if your salary is below market rate, that's a problem. Then document your wins. When was the last time you brought real value to your company? Did you help them save money or boost sales or improve efficiency? But get clear on how you contribute. Ask the right way. The biggest mistake people make when asking for a raise is making it about themselves. I've been here for years, or I work really hard. Instead, show the company why they would benefit from paying you more. And then if your employer won't budge, that's a sign. And sometimes the fastest way to make more is to move somewhere that pays you what you're worth. So step 2 is to develop a high value skill. There's a reason that 2 people can work in the same job for the same number of hours, but one makes double what the other does. The market doesn't pay for effort, it pays for value. Wealthy people are constantly looking for ways to make their skills more valuable, and that might mean learning a skill that's in high demand like negotiation or sales or tech, or becoming the go-to expert in their field, or leveraging their experience into consulting or coaching or freelancing. Whatever you do for a living, ask yourself, what would make my work worth more? Because that's where the biggest financial gains happen. And step 3, build more than one income stream. One of the biggest financial risks isn't spending too much. It's relying on a single paycheck. It's true that things are much harder for young adults. The cost of living is crazy. But on the flip side, there has never been a better time in history to build additional streams of income. Now, most people think earning more means picking up extra hours or getting a side hustle that drains all their time. And you could definitely do that, but the wealthy think differently. Instead of trading more hours for money, they create an income that keeps coming in even when they're not working. And that could mean things like investing in assets that produce cash flow, starting a micro business that runs without them, building a side income stream that scales beyond trading their time for money. The goal isn't to work more, it's to make your money work harder than you do. Bottom line, you can budget all you want, but at some point you're going to hit a ceiling. So if you want to get ahead, you need to focus on making more if you want to do it faster. The big idea I want to underline is give it a go, be bold, be okay to fail. I've had so many failures along the way, and being okay with failure is what will set you apart from 99% of others. So next up, number 3, move money from idle to active. So checking your bank balance and seeing a big number feels good, it feels safe, it feels like you're being responsible with money. But here's what I realized. Outside of emergency buffers, money sitting in a savings account has a cost. It's not security, it's stagnation. Let's say you had $50,000 in savings, but over the 10 years, inflation eats away at it. What you could buy for $50,000 today might cost you $70,000 in the future. If, however, the same money was invested, even earning a modest return, maybe it would have doubled. The big mistake isn't spending money recklessly, it's also keeping too much of it parked in neutral. You don't need a finance degree or $1 million portfolio to start doing what the 1% do. Here's a system that works. Keep a cash buffer, a few months of expenses for emergencies. That's your real safety net. Then decide where your excess money will go. Stocks, real estate, private investments. The key is having a plan. And then third, make investing a habit. Just like you automate your savings, set up automatic contributions to investment accounts. The wealthy don't build security by hoarding cash. They create it by owning assets that multiply over time. So the fourth principle of the 1%ers is to slash the true cost of debt. Everywhere you look, it's easy to borrow money. Car loans, credit cards, buy now, pay later, all designed to make spending painless. But the pain comes later when you realize how much of your paycheck is already spoken for before it hits your account. Now, there was a time when I thought debt was fine. As long as you kept up with your repayments, no big deal. But then I did the sums. And debt does this subtle but dangerous thing. It locks up your future earnings. And every dollar going towards repayments is a dollar you can't put towards your future self or buying back your own time. Not all debt is bad, but it can be a tool or a noose around your neck. And high interest debt like credit cards is a money bleed. Every month you carry a balance, you are giving away free money to the bank. Now the top 1% wealthy know this. They use debt as a tool or even as an investment, but they rarely use it for lifestyle debt that can't be cleared immediately. Now the fix is you've got to get aggressive. Cut it down as fast as possible. Now I've looked at all the arguments for having a credit card and they don't make sense anymore. Getting rid of credit cards was the best decision I ever made. And if you have to have one, avoid financing things that you can't pay off immediately. In which case I say don't have one at all. If debt is eating a chunk of your income every month, your money isn't yours anymore. It belongs to someone else. And last but not least, the fifth habit of the 1%ers. Live below your means and then invest the gap. So guys, earning more money feels like it should be the answer to everything. And it's easy to assume that if you made 6 figures or even 7, all of your financial problems would disappear. But usually, the moment income goes up, spending tends to follow. And you don't even notice it happening. The dinner upgrades, the nicer car, the slightly bigger apartment, it all seems reasonable because you can afford it now. But then suddenly you're back in the same position as before, waiting for the next paycheck. Now it's natural to want nicer things as you earn more. And the problem isn't the spending itself, it's when every extra dollar of income gets absorbed into your lifestyle. Now you don't have to live like a monk or cut out every little luxury, but if you want to build real wealth, you need a rule for how you handle extra income. Here's a simple example of how that might work. Before you upgrade anything, decide how much of your raise, bonus, or windfall goes to investing. This makes sure that you're growing your wealth before growing your expenses. And if you want to spend more, match it with investments. If you want to add another $500 a month to expenses, put another $500 into assets first. Give your money time to work for you before you spend it. The longer you delay your lifestyle upgrades, the more financial options you create for yourself. So right now you have a choice. You can keep handling money the way that you always have, or you can start shifting habits that change everything. Look, most people will watch this and they will do nothing. I'm encouraging you right now, just take one action. Automate a small amount of savings, make an extra debt repayment, or set up an investment account, even if it's just for a few dollars. The habits matter more than the amount. Tiny 1% changes could be the thing that sets you up for life, wealth, so you can be free.